This video is going to be about how the federal government, the DOJ, DHS, Donald Trump, can do absolutely nothing in preventing Hennepin County, the county in Minnesota where Minneapolis is located, and where Jonathan Ross shot Renee Good in the head 3 times Wednesday morning. The federal government can't do anything to prevent the DA of Hennepin County, Mary Moriarty, from indicting and prosecuting Jonathan Ross and putting him on trial for murder. DOJ sent the FBI to take over the investigation. And yeah, I believe it's accurate to say that the FBI is in possession of most of the physical evidence in this case, probably the vehicle involved, Jonathan Ross's firearm, things like that, Renee Good's body. But Keith Ellison, who is the Minnesota Attorney General, and Mary Moriarty, who is the Hennepin County District Attorney, held a press conference today, and Mary Moriarty asked citizens of Minneapolis to submit any photos or video that they have. They are doing their own investigation. They will no doubt interview as many witnesses who are on the ground and present that day, and get as many witness statements as they can. And she very correctly said that at this stage right now, their main priority is the collection and preservation of evidence, including video, photo, audio, witnesses, witness statements, things along those lines, anything that they can collect and preserve. When a person is on trial in a criminal case, the burden of proof for conviction is beyond a reasonable doubt. It's the highest burden that exists in the law, beyond a reasonable doubt. At the grand jury phase, when a prosecutor presents facts and witnesses to a grand jury seeking an indictment against someone, the burden of proof or the level is probable cause. It's extremely low. You have to present just enough evidence to a grand jury for them to believe that a crime may have occurred, and that the person against whom the DA is seeking an indictment may be responsible for that crime. It is not beyond a reasonable doubt at the grand jury phase. And the multiple videos that we've seen from Wednesday, including the cell phone video that was taken by Jonathan Ross, the ICE agent who shot Renee Good in the head, that was released today. That video is the most damning evidence I've seen yet. And everybody on the right thinks, oh, it exonerates him. Spoiler alert, Hennepin County is a Democrat county. Minnesota is a Democrat state. The Attorney General, Democrat. DA, Mary Moriarty, Democrat. The grand jury is going to be comprised of citizens from Hennepin County, primarily Democrats. The jury in the criminal trial will be comprised of residents from Hennepin County, primarily Democrats. So all of these right-wing fucking chuds who are all over TikTok saying he's exonerated, the video exonerates him, none of those people are going to be in the grand jury. None of those people are going to be on the criminal trial jury. None of those people are going to be testifying at the grand jury or at the trial. This is a consequence of Donald Trump sending ICE into Democrat states and Democrat cities. Law enforcement, DAs, attorney general, jury pools, grand jury pools are going to be Democrats. Yeah, didn't think that one through, did you, Donnie? But, you know, the multiple videos that we've seen and witnesses that I've seen interviewed on the news, who no doubt are being interviewed by the Hennepin County DA's office right now, that's more than enough to meet that probable cause threshold. Probable cause that a crime may have been committed, and that crime may have been committed by Jonathan Ross, the ICE agent. This is the same DA's office, although I think at that time, Keith Ellison, who's now the Attorney General for the state, I think at the time he was the district attorney for Hennepin County, has experience prosecuting cops for murder. They prosecuted Derek Chauvin and I think 5 other officers for the murder of George Floyd that took place in May of 2020. Derek Chauvin's in prison pretty much for the rest of his life. And so this DA's office, this county, this community is familiar with what it takes to put a law enforcement officer away for life for murdering one of their citizens. And there, again, there's absolutely nothing that the federal government can do to prevent Hennepin County District Attorney Mary Moriarty from bringing a case against a resident of Hennepin County for murdering another resident of Hennepin County. They both reside in her jurisdiction. This crime took place in her jurisdiction. The federal government cannot prevent her from indicting, arresting, prosecuting, and putting Jonathan Ross on trial for murdering Renee Good. There's nothing they can do to prevent that. They can make it more difficult by withholding evidence, which no doubt seems now to be the plan. But what kind of an impact do you think that's going to have on the citizens of Hennepin County who are going to end up sitting on that grand jury when Mary Moriarty seeks an indictment against Jonathan Ross? What impact is the federal government withholding evidence going to have on the members of the people who from Hennepin County who will sit on the jury during his criminal trial? If one side is purposefully withholding evidence, the jury is allowed to take that into consideration in rendering their verdict. I'll look up the specific jury instructions on that in a bit here, but the jury will be instructed that if one side has relevant, admissible evidence that goes to the ultimate questions that the jury is to decide, and that side purposefully, intentionally, and without excuse withholds that evidence, the jury is allowed to take that into consideration in determining whether or not Jonathan Ross is guilty of murder. So it's like Trump and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel think that they're going to be doing Jonathan Ross a favor by withholding relevant evidence from this investigation and from this prosecution, when in reality they are actually going to be causing him great harm and probably making a conviction much more likely than it otherwise would have been. But that's because all of these people are stupid and incompetent. They didn't think any of this through. They didn't think any of this through.